Okay. All right. I am live on YouTube and my private Facebook group, Mindfully Fit for Life. Hello, hello. How is everyone? I am Liz Philippone. I help people stay strong, confident, and independent by combining evidence-based training with mindful movement and nervous system support. I'm a multi-certified fitness and yoga professional specializing in strength training, mobility, and corrective exercise for midlife and older adults. My approach focuses on building resilience, not perfection. So my clients can move better, reduce pain, and continue doing what they love to do for years to come. We're talking years to come, okay? And I'm so excited to be talking about with you today why inflammation and muscle loss matter as we age. I probably did do a webinar about this, but you know what? Sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle, right? We forget, as I forget. And there's always things that I'm learning, for sure. I am learning about, and just want to reframe it all, right? Because sometimes this stuff is a little, it kind of gets, what's the word? Daunting, right? The majority of those who watch my stuff and work with me, we're aging, right? I mean, we're always aging, right? We can't stop the chronological aging process. But as far as the other processes, like the biological, the psychological, neurological, right? Those things, we can support them through the aging process and in fact slow some of those things down that are breaking down, right? Whether it's all our cells, our brain cells, our nerve cells, right? All the cell biology that makes us up, right? They start to die off, right? That's just the reality, guys. But there are so many things that we can do to support, and that's about educating ourselves. It really is. It's about educating ourselves. And I know sometimes what we learn isn't always fun. Yeah. So if you're watching the replay, please say hello, type hashtag replay. I want to know that you saw this. I want to get your feedback on all of this. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into it. And, I'm super passionate about this topic because so many people think stiffness, weakness, or slowing down is just aging, right? But there's more to that story. There's more to the story. This is all about understanding why this happens. It's not about doing everything perfectly, right? We're not going for perfection. If you read my little pitch in the beginning, it's all about resilience, bouncing back, keep going, adjusting, keep going, right? It's not about doing anything perfectly, right? So this is just all about education and that empowerment, right? Taking control of your health, right? In the capacity and the way that you can control your health, right? There's only so much we can control. So looking at those things that we can control and how. All right. I think I'm still good here. I'm just looking at connections and things because I'm just telling you, things have gone awry, right, when you go live. Okay. So what is inflammation, right? What is inflammation, right? What is it really, right? We all know what inflammation means, right? Things are inflamed, irritated, swelling, right? All those sort of words come up into mind. And there is a difference between short-term inflammation and chronic inflammation, right? Short-term inflammation is like, you bang yourself, you bang your leg or something, or you bruise something, right? And it swells up or it bruises up, right? That is like a little bit of short-term inflammation, and eventually that goes away pretty quickly. When we get a cold, when we get the flu, right? When we get some kind of sickness, right? Our body's inflamed. It is fighting something. Our bodies are fighting something. So that's sort of like examples of the short-term inflammation. Excuse me. But if you want to know like the actual definition of inflammation, it's a localized physical condition in which part of the body becomes reddened, swollen, hot, right? We always go with heat, and often painful, especially with a reaction to an injury or infection, right? When something's infected, it's inflamed, it's hot, it's swollen, it hurts, right? It hurts. So going back to short-term and chronic. Chronic inflammation slowly, quietly builds up over time, all right? It's not like that short-term, we get sick, we rest, we take the medicine if we need to take medicine, right? We get over it, our body kind of goes back to balance, and we don't have all that inflammation, right? Or we injure ourselves, our ankle, our shoulder, right? Something like that. It gets inflamed for a little bit. We ice it, it gets better. Okay. Chronic, it builds up over time. Okay. It's sort of like the quiet buildup, right? And the reason chronic inflammation, it matters like the most, right? It actually is most important to pay attention to because it impacts our joints, our energy, our recovery time. I talk a lot about recovery here, cognition, and your muscle quality. And I like to think of it as muscle function. So inflammation isn't just about, ouch, this hurts, right? Or this hurts, right? It's about how well your body adapts as you age. And as you age, it's just a natural thing. Your body goes through inflamed states, right? Because it's changing. With every change, there comes that. I hope this makes sense. Please let me know in the comments that this makes sense, or if you have questions, or if you have another take on this, I would love to hear it. Please share. Your feedback with this topic. And one of the things I'm going to talk about, which I have talked about before, and this is around muscle health. Okay. It's more about the health of the muscle. I'm not talking more about strength. I'm talking about the health of muscles. And that's sarcopenia, right? Which is an age-related muscle loss that affects the function of the muscle, not just the appearance of the muscle. Okay. And it's harder, right, as we get older to maintain that muscle mass, strength, conditioning, especially, if we're not keeping up on it and then we have a major surgery, especially a joint replacement or another kind of surgery, right? The muscles around that area get atrophied, right? And if they were already atrophied, if they hadn't been conditioned before, it's going to be harder to rehab, to recover, right? You will, but it's just going to take a little bit longer. There's going to be more inflammation, right? Because you might have gone into the surgery or maybe gotten an illness already being inflamed, right? It's just sort of the way that works. But it's muscle, is a metabolic and protective organ. I never really thought of that, right? When I was doing research, and you're looking at the way different pieces of research word things. But, it's like the heart is a muscle, but it's a major organ, right? We don't think of the heart as a muscle. It is a muscle. All right. It's not only a major organ, but it's got to pump the blood out, right? Constantly into your organ system, into your bloodstream, into your muscles, into your brain, right? All of the above. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But muscles, they're absolutely are protective, right? They help us balance so we don't fall. Muscles help with blood sugar regulation, right? That's why, I don't know if you've always heard, it's like, you need to strength train to balance your blood sugar. Because eating more protein is going to help with that blood sugar regulation as well. Your brain and nervous system health, right? It helps with that. And just your independence in daily life, all the daily activities that you currently do, and some of the activities that you want to do or still want to do, like traveling, playing with your children, grandchildren, whatever it might be that's physically active, you want to be doing. That's why we need to keep our muscles healthy, right? It's all connected. So going back to that sarcopenia, that is the actual term, which is that muscle loss, right? That affects our function. And when we enter our 40s, we actually start to lose 40% of our muscle loss. And then after 50, it accelerates. It goes faster if we are not doing things to maintain it. Okay? So inflammation accelerates muscle decline, unfortunately. And muscle loss increases vulnerability to inflammation. So the more muscle you lose, the more vulnerable you are to more inflammation. So this isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And how do we know this, right? Well, I don't know, right? I don't know you all individually watching this, right? We all have different reasons, right? We have different health things going on, right? And sometimes it gets so overwhelming and we need to just focus on the one thing, right? But I do a lot of what I do to help people in my programs is this, right? Is to help with muscle loss, to help keep the muscles more healthy and conditioned. All right, just doing a quick check of my signal in here because I did lose my signal when I was doing a live. Okay, so really quick, there's just some common myths. Muscle loss is inevitable with age. That's a myth. If I'm walking, that's not enough. Rest means doing nothing. It's too late to make a difference. Those are just a few, right? It's too late to make a difference really sticks out at me, right? We need to reframe these myths a little bit, right? How about adaptability, right? How about I can adapt? I'm adaptable, right? To whatever hits me. Whatever hits me, whatever's going on with me right now, I am adaptable to this. Okay, that feels a little bit better. I think I'm not going to reframe all of those, but those are just a few that I found. So maybe it's just small things, right? Maybe you just make the smaller choices, and that's what it is. You don't have to go super big. Are there some small choices that you can make? What are these small choices that matter to you, right? Like movement signals safety and resilience to the body. When the body is moving, the body wants to move. It wants to move. We were made to move. And even if we are chair bound, we can move our arms, right? I just taught a seat class this morning, supported exercise for ageless training. And there's some people in that class that have had like knee replacements, and there's some sections where they just do the arm parts. Yeah. And they're huffing and puffing. They're getting that cardio. They're getting their muscles working, even just by sitting. So the body wants to move. Okay. It's a really important thing for the body. So maybe it is just like doing some simple stretches, some simple strengthening exercises wherever you are in your day. Also, maybe it would be like a small thing would be focusing on your nutrition, your nourishment, right? Because that repairs, supports, and helps with adaptation when there is a change in our biological makeup, like our muscles. Or maybe it's sleep, right? Maybe you're just tired, right? And you're not getting enough sleep. I'm definitely falling into that where there's some nights I just don't sleep well. And I feel it like, ugh, it's hard, right? When we can recover our bodies better and sleep and rest better, that reduces the inflammatory response and that load. All right. Okay. Let me just see here. And I know I did a different time. So like, right, like by now I would even be like asking questions for all of you. Like, what are you consistent in? What do you try to be consistent in? Even if it's a small thing that matters to your health. You know, what would that be? What do you try to stay consistent with and is working for you? What feels hardest for you? What feels hardest lately? Is it your energy? Is it maybe consistency? Or is it recovery? Where do you notice inflammation showing up most? Do you even notice it in your body? Maybe it's parts of your body. But awareness is the first step. It's always the first step. You don't have to do anything today. It's just noticing. Noticing like, okay, what is feeling hard lately, right? I'm dragging, right? I don't have that motivation to move, or it may hurt to move, right? So what I want to close with are just some key takeaways. And that is inflammation impacts muscle and aging. Muscle health protects independence. And lifestyle choices influence both at any age. You can be 20s, all right? Thinking back on all the things I used to do to my body, wow, right? That I'm sort of paying for now, right? We kind of think of that, right? Or some of the things I wasn't doing, right, that I'm paying for now, right? We always think about that. We think about the past. I'm not saying dwell on the past. I'm not saying go back and being like, you know, dwelling there. It's just something to think about. So inflammation impacts muscle and aging. Muscle health protects independence. And number 3, lifestyle choices influence both of those at any age, okay? So this is what I do in my Power Up Your Strength program. I help and support people through education, movement, and even nervous system support, right? Because it does come down to the nervous system. I'm just going to quickly say we are stressed out. We have a lot of stress going on in our lives. We can't be, or we don't feel like we can add another thing on our plate, right? But when it comes to how you feel and what you want to do and keep doing, sometimes we have to stop and think, okay, where am I putting all my energy? Where am I putting all my time onto? Is it helping me right now? And with the Power Up Your Strength program, I do help. It's a hybrid program where it's both in person and online. Some people are completely online with it, and some people are they're like in person, but also online, because there is online online content that people follow. So why are you here? Why are you even listening to, or why are you even watching this live, right? You know, you want to make a change in your health, in your lifestyle, so you can avoid future medical visits, surgeries, that kind of thing. Maybe you've been through physical therapy and you're just like, okay, what's next, right? Maybe you just want to be more flexible, more mobile, so you can move throughout your day as pain-free as possible. Maybe you want to walk at the rate you are walking now or more, walkathon. Maybe you want to go do a 5K, right? Maybe you want to travel more, right? And things with traveling is just becoming too hard, right? Traveling's hard, okay? I feel like at any age, but as we get older, it becomes even more daunting sometimes, right? Maybe we want to keep up with our grandkids, you know, who are running around playing games, want you to play with them, want you to get down onto that floor, right? And do all those things. Maybe you are taking care of your parents now, right? And it's really taking a toll, and it's taking you away from you. Yeah. Maybe you sit a lot during the day, right? Maybe you're sick of waking up injured like me. Sometimes there was a period where I was waking up injured, like, why am I getting hurt in my sleep? That sounds silly, huh? And maybe this too, maybe you experienced watching your parents, your grandparents go through some tough times with pain in their body, illness. And you're like, I don't want to be that way, right? I want to change it. This program is for you. Okay, if you are interested in that, comment power up. I will connect with you to give you more details about that. Okay. And then really quick, if you are like, I just want to dip my toes a little bit, I'm not sure, I need more time, comment steady if you're interested, because I am creating, well, it's already created. I'm just trying to get interest here. It's for my program called Foundation First. It's 7 days to steady, stable movement. It's a 7-day movement series. It's all online. It's really just to give you a taste of what we do in the 12-week Power Up Your Step program. Power Up Your Strength program. It's a way to just kind of dip your toes and see how I work. And if it's something that's good for you, right? It's also a great foundational series overall if you're already a seasoned mover and you want to reestablish that foundation, right? Back into your body, right? Because we all need that a little bit. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this live stream. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.